conferences for the people to voice their concern. All right. This is more targeted at the press, transparency for the press, their articles, their lovely articles going. But fortnightly conferences will be there for people to raise their concern, any suggestions, ideas. I will be trying to get PD representatives and council representatives there to answer any questions. And the third is the mental health center. I've been in therapy, couple sessions, and it's helping me. It's making me progress as a citizen, as a person, and I'd like people to try that out for themselves. Right.
All right, understood. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. White?
Nothing else. Vote for
Understood.
William White.
All right, thank you. Next, Mr. Weems.
There have been a lot of issues plaguing the poor citizens of this fine city, and I've spoken to a lot of concerned citizens. And one thing a lot of you have mentioned was the lack of professionalism and hostility when it comes to the police. I believe each citizen has a right to not be harassed by the police. However, I do think there is sometimes a miscommunication. I want to be a mediator between the citizens and the police to make sure they have a good relationship. I also think small businesses are struggling. People purchase small businesses and struggle to make ends meet. The suppliers are charging too much, their profit margins are too thin, and they don't have enough money to furnish or afford security to prevent their businesses from being harassed by criminals. I want to offer grants to small business owners and struggling businesses to make sure that they can get started and do what they need. I also understand there's a lot of problems with the South Side. In particular, students can't afford school at LSU. I want to offer grants to students from the South Side. And I want to try to do more community outreach with the South Side. I also want to hold bi-weekly town halls for the city so they can bring me their concerns and I can address them.
Understood. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Weems?
The communist threat is very real. The communists are among us. They have tried to sabotage my campaign, and I will hunt them down.
Understood. Understood. All right. Next, Tony.
All right. Well, one of the biggest things plaguing this city right now is unfortunately the old penal code system. The old penal code still has people labeled as felons, and they can't get it off of their name. I'm working very hard right now with a bunch of people right here, and we're working really hard to get all of this non-violent felonies expunged prior to all the penal code changes that have happened.
Fucking cowards.
We are also working very hard to figure out where all of the money is going from the top to the bottom. I think everybody, like Mr. Johnson said, should be paid fairly. I do think, though, that not everybody should be paid the same. That's something. But, yeah, we need to figure out where all of your taxpayer money is going. I'd like to be transparent with everybody about that.
What money?
The state money.
What state money?
There will be time for questions at the end, sir. All right. Is that all, Tony? Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it.
Okay. Understood. Understood. And last but not least, once again, Joy. Or excuse me, Dan has to go.
Yeah, I guess I got to. I'm just going to be honest right now, too, is we don't know where the money's going for anything. So I do want to establish a state fund, which will allocate money to go towards events for like a 4th of July event or even an event for like a police ball. I just want to be able to make sure that people are communicating and people are being able to enjoy themselves as well. This police or the state funds also is going to go towards budgets and towards small business loans. We are going to, I already actually started working with the DOJ trying to establish a business proposal plan so people can actually propose these businesses, actually be able to get their ideas out there of what they want and expect out of this business and be able to further and progress it. So more jobs, opportunities for people to come out there and be able to own their own business, as well as get a loan for that business in general. PD is retraining. I've already actually talked to the chief about it, and we're going to actually get training for these officers and try to make sure that everybody's a cohesive force instead of, a few oddballs out there doing things that they shouldn't be doing. On top of all of that, I think the main goal for anybody who's running for mayor right now is establish the mayor in general, because right now there's nothing. We have to start it all the way from the beginning and we have to build that up. So that should be our main focus.
Very well said.
Understood. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add, Joy?
No, that's it.
All right, fantastic. And now, last but not least, Mr. Marino.
Yeah, some of the issues that I believe the city's facing that need to be addressed are obviously the transparency and community trust between not only the PD but the government, being able to let the people know what's going on, inform them. Would like to set up, weekly, bi-weekly meetings, press conferences, help further that understanding with the public of what's actually going on, and able to ask questions as well. Would like to do some restorative justice programs. I would like to look at more rehabilitation and healing, less punitive charges for non-violent criminals as well. And like some of the others have said, the would help the PD get their training up and running and make sure that that they're held to a good standard out there and everyone's working under the same SOPs and training policies. Southside politics also is something I would like to address. Looking at the infrastructure on the south side, putting up maybe some more sporting activities in the south side. I know there's not much there, and getting safety measures addressed that I've seen while just patrolling around down there. Also foster partnerships between the community and commercial sector and government entities down in the south side to help build up businesses, and also looking to do small business loans and help people trying to buy businesses in the neighborhoods where they live. I think that's very important, and would bring me into my economic development stuff. Really looking to work toward helping create the budget for the state, so we understand how we're paying our state employees, as well as working with the unions, trying to understand how we can help the wage or the hours to facilitate better pay for employees out there. As well as I'd like to look to create an export relationship with other state or independent agencies off island. That way, we, if we got people producing goods that other entities could be interested in, we could help you facilitate your businesses further and get products to the mainland or elsewhere and get you guys paid.
All right, fantastic. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Marino?
No, that I don't want to take up too much of my time. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Let's see here.
That was good.
All right. A couple of you touched a little bit on this in your previous response there, but the mental health is a service that is currently overlooked within our city. Currently, the Los Santos Mental Health Clinic does not have their own facilities nor their own system in place for hiring or anything of that nature.
Yeah, for real.
What are your views regarding the mental health department, and what plans can the public expect you to try and implement? The time limit for this question will once again be 3 minutes, and we will begin with Mr. Falco.
Thank you. So mental health is a very important issue. It's only 10 years ago that we saw the deinstitutionalization of people, and And what we need to do is focus on providing health care to those individuals now by dedicating facilities specifically for the treatment of mental health and working with the hospitals. We can ensure that those who are impacted by mental health have those resources available. Thanks.
Understood.
Definitely my
Understood.
question.
Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Falco?
Yeah, like
You think, Joy?
I do not.
definitely your question.
All right. Thank
I
you.
forgot-
Thank you for your response.
I-
Next, Mr. White.
I forgot
Ooh,
that.
Mr.
I did.
White.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I did touch upon mental health
Steal your answer, man.
being one of the 3 things I will be putting a lot of pressure on, and I'd like to say
That's fine, I
that
feel like me and you are
some of the things I'll be doing is making it independent
If you win,
of from the
deputy.
pillbox hospital. I don't think it should be treated the same. They're doing 2 different things. Mental health is a very important thing. And if you've ever had a session with Dr. Lipschitz, you'd know that
Just us 3 right there. Yeah,
they
that's it, right?
use
Yeah,
one room besides the hospital,
think we should
which
all work
is
together.
absurd.
Actually,
They've got multiple therapists, and working from one room, it's just not ideal. I have spoken to Dr. Lipschitz, and she did say that sometimes the meetings do get taken up to Sandy, but who has the time to go all the way up to Sandy? It just does not make sense. I will be making it independent from the hospital and making sure more people get therapy. That's all.
You bring people up to
You're
Sandy,
trying to
you
open
fuck.
thousands.
When are you paying me, Mr.
Probably
White?
start
for
with
being
you
here?
getting therapy, you fucking
Let's
cop
put it
killer.
out
I've been getting therapy, and it's been
let's limit
helping.
outbursts from the crowd, please. There will be
It's
time
been
for questions
helping.
at the end.
I'm progressing as a citizen of
you guys
this
should open
lovely
up.
state. Thank you.
Okay.
Fucking
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. White.
Ooh, Mr. White.
ne-
We can play with
That's
little
right.
old cats and dogs.
Next, Mr. Weems.
Mental health is a very important pillar of our society, and as you all know, this city there is a rampant drug problem, and addiction is a very real thing. I would like to open a mental health rehabilitation and career center in order to provide support for individuals struggling with addiction and mental health. I would work closely with the hospital to make that happen, and we can also provide career paths to individuals who are struggling so they can start a new life of productivity and normalcy. That's it.
Understood. Next, we have Mr. Tony.
It sounds great to me, guys. I don't know if about you guys, but there's nothing better than a facility with dogs and cats running around playing that you can go to, get taken care of, talk to whoever you need to talk to, and play with these animals. So I'll make sure I put that right at the top of my list of places to open up. Get funded by the state.
All right. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Tony?
That's it.
All right. Understood. Next, Miss Daniels.
I am actually currently employed by Pillbox Medical as a therapist, so this is my question in general. I've already chits about this, and we are working on trying to get a facility, and it's more pressuring and try to get that facility built. We do have an office that we can work out of, but unfortunately it's getting fumigated at this time, so we are stuck to one office in general. Therapy is there for anybody who needs it. All you have to do is come down to the hospital and speak to somebody, and you can get in contact with a therapist. But mental health is actually something that is definitely needed for this city and any city, especially because a lot of our city is filled with veterans. And we do have a VA program. We do have other programs, AA, that people can join in and get group sessions and try to get their problems out there. And it's just more, you have to be open to it. And as well as we need the facility to be able to perform these actions.
Very true. Very well
Understood.
said.
Understood. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Daniels?
No, just go talk to a doctor and try to book an appointment because we are available.
All right. Understood. Understood. Next, Mr. Marino.
You know, mental health is very important, and I've seen firsthand some of the offices that we've had get help. You know, I've tried to make an appointment with Joy here a few times, but just two ships in the night kind of thing. But you know, I'd look to create a support system for the hospital, whether that be a public health official or some type of you know, group of directors or something that would help you know, get this knowledge out to the public and let them know where help is available. Also look to create a standalone facility where you know, mental health practices can take place away from the hospital, because that is quite a hectic place sometimes, and sometimes you need peace and quiet more than anything. So you know, I do find it very important, and you know, would work with the hospital staff very closely to make sure that we get them everything they need.
Understood. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add, Ms. Marino?
Not at the time, thank you.
All right. Understood. And last but not least, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you very much. I have to say I was overjoyed to hear Joy speak about the good work they're doing in the mental health department of our health services. It seems like they're doing good work down there. Now, you all know, just as I know, that mental health is a very important subject. You know, we all have or know someone who's felt sad, lonely, depressed. And it's 1985, people. We're not living in the Stone Age anymore.
Take a quiet Lou.
The mental health organization of this city should have its own building. There's enough space. We can get it done. Even if we have to do fundraisers, anything. But mental health is just important as physical health. We should be letting people get out there, ride bikes, go for walks up the mountainsides without fear. Parks, all sorts of stuff like that. Anything to make our lives better. And that is what it's all about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. All right, folks. Our next question is going to be, what do you think is the most important skill in being a good leader? The time limit for this question will be 1 minute, and we will begin with Mr. White.
Oh, that should.
The most important skill is listening. All right. I've done a lot of legwork in my campaign, going up and down the island, listening to what people have to say, the suggestions, the ideas, complaints. You know, thing is, my father used to say, William, you're only a leader when you're recognized as one. People are coming to me as if I'm already a mayor. People are coming to me with their ideas, their complaints, their suggestions. I'm here to make it official. Listening is very important. That's the most important skill a leader could have. Thank you. Vote for William White.
Ooh, Mr. White.
That's right.
All right. Understood. Thank you, Mr. White. Next,
I
Mr.
suggest you
Weems.
step down.
Hey, no outburst, please.
Oh gosh, I think one of the most important things a leader can have is the availability to be there. You need to be there to be able to listen to people, to hear what they have to say. I built my entire platform based on the ideas and concerns of our citizens, and I will continue to base my ideas and solutions based on the citizens of this fine city, even as mayor. I'm not going to be here sitting on some ivory throne in City Hall. I'm going to be out in the streets, walking around, talking to any person. Doesn't matter who you are. I will be there, and I will be available to listen one-on-one at any time. Thank you.
No outburst, please.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Weems. Thank you. Next, Mr. Tony.
One of the most important things is being able to take initiative, and not being scared to step up to the man. I guess we'd all become the man, but yeah, being able to step up and be like, "Hey, we got to get this done this way." Listening, although that is very noble, can only get you so far. You listen to everybody and don't do anything about it, you're not doing anything to help. So I think it would be just taking the initiative, taking that first step.
Understood. Understood. Thank you, Mr. Tony.
Yeah.
Next, Miss Daniels.
Compassion. And the reason why I say compassion is because you have to care about the people around you and you have to care about your job to be able to even do anything in general with it. If you don't have compassion for what you do, then you're not going to be available for people. You're not going to listen to them. Compassion should be the main key of what a mayor should be, just because you need to be able to relate to the people and you need to be there and listen to them.
Understood. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Fantastic. Next, Mr. Marino.
You know, a lot of good qualities been mentioned up here. Compassion, I like that. I think us being up here shows that all of us have compassion for this. I think Mr. White was right there. Listening is really important, but that's only half of it. I think communication, is going to be very important for this first mayor. Making sure you're listening, but also communicating back to the public what's going on, and that we keep this an open dialogue. We let you guys know what we're up to. You guys let us know what your concerns are, and the mayor and the council will have to communicate together as well, and that's going to be a big issue that needs to be addressed. As a mayor, I'll be your voice to the council, and then we'll put those issues forward, and the council and the mayor will vote on them to get changes done. So communication is very, very important for this first mayor, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Marino. Next, we have Mr. Johnson.
Well, I must say, the truth is, and this may shock some of you out there is no one base skill that a leader or mayor should have. A leader should be able to take all of their skills and use them when they need to. If and when. Compassion.
No,
Listening.
He's not answering the question. He's just trying to find a way around.
That's true.
Sorry?
Oh, no, continue.
No, I am answering the question. Yeah. The skill is to be able to use all the skills available to you at the same time, if and when the scenario or situation calls for it. Sometimes you may have to listen, sometimes you may have to make tough decisions. And that is what being a mayor is all about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Next, Mr. Falco.
So being a leader has a lot of tenets to it, as Mr. Johnson said. Most important, I believe, is the fact that you can't be an expert in everything. So the tenet that I think is most important is you listen to the person on the ground. So I would surround myself with experts in all the fields that I'm going to focus on. That way, if you listen to those on the ground who know what they're doing, like I'm not a mental health expert, so I would work with Joy here and maybe even make her head of mental health for the city. The goal is to surround myself with the experts that can actually help me make those leadership decisions, because again, it would be malpractice as mayor to just make all those decisions by yourself.
Understood.
I don't think he answered the question, did he?
All right, folks. All right. The next question is going to be, why are you the best person for the job? What distinguishes you from the other candidates? The time limit for this question will be 1 minute once again, and we will begin with Mr. Weems.
Oh gosh. Well, as you know, or may not know, I have been hard at work with my campaign since the announcement of these elections. I have been out here every day working with the everyday man. I have been communicating with every citizen in this city to find out exactly what their concerns are and what their ideas are. And I have been doing this tirelessly every day since the beginning of the election. And I will continue to do that until my term as mayor ends. A lot of these other candidates, oh gosh, well, they joined late and they didn't put nearly the work in because they think they can just come in and win by name. But you know what? Nobody knows who I am and nobody knew who I was. But you know what? I'm making a name for myself through my actions,
To
and I
voice
will
their
continue to
concern.
do so as your mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Weems. Next, we have Mr. Tony.
I am the right candidate for this job because I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get each job done. I'm not scared of anyone. Got to do whatever I got to do. Roll my sleeves up, get down in the trenches, and get everything done. That's it. I think some of these candidates would be very scared to do what I'm willing to do to get the city on the right path.
Understood. Please limit outbursts in the crowd, please. Understood, Mr. Tony. Understood. Thank you. Next,
Yeah.
Miss Daniels.
Well, little does Newton know that I was actually the very first person to put a flyer on the bulletin board for mayor.
Shit.
Oh,
Other than that,
taking stabs.
I have a good outlook of people in general, and I just want to be a person that's going to be there for everybody. The only reason why I think I'm going to be a really good candidate is because I can see the good sides of every single person in this room. Yeah, you may have bad sides, but you do also have good sides and good things that you can bring to the city. And I believe that I can be a good voice to those people that can't get their voice out there otherwise and deserve that voice to be there.
I would like a chance to rebuttal that
spoke.
attack.
You will have a chance to rebut at the end of the debate, Mr. Weems.
Rebut this.
Nice.
Damn.
Fuck you, Weems.
Please limit outbursts. All right. Next, Mr. Marino.
You know, I don't consider myself better than anyone up here, but I think that's what makes me good for the job. I understand that I'm gonna have to surround myself with people who have skills that I necessarily don't have to create a good team that's going to be able to help move the city forward into a brighter future.
Understood. Understood. Anything else you'd like to add, Miss Marino?
No, thank you. Marino for mayor.
All right.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's good. That's good.
Next, Mr. Johnson.
Well, I think you can tell that I'm the best person for the job simply by listening to my music. You can tell that I'm passionate. You can tell that I see what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
If you've heard Ditas or Die, you'll know what kind of person I am. Thank
So
you.
good.
Hell yeah.
Limit outbursts, please, man.
Shut
All
up,
right.
Lori.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you. Next, Mr. Falco.
Well, I didn't just fly helicopters in the military. I took joyrides while dusted with cocaine, and it's that same adventurous spirit that I'll bring to the mayor's office. Expect
that's
the
badass.
unexpected.
Oh, so you're a drug addict.
I'm not going to lie. That was pretty badass.
Drugs?
There will be
Thank
time for
you.
questions at the end, please.
Damn.
That's
All
my
right.
man.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Falco. Next, Mr. White.
Ooh, Mr. White.
That's right. Now look, people, I have been very verbal about my campaign. I've been doing it for a while. Joy was one of the first few people to put up a flyer, but I was one of the ones who was the only one out there speaking to people, talking to people,
That's
gauging
not
their
true.
interest, gauging their
It's not true.
ideas. All I see around the
Hold
whole
on, I
city
thought I
is
talked to you
people
about
just
it, right?
tagging and noting things on ponds, post office, hospitals, PD. What is that? It's just lazy to me. I've been putting in a lot of legwork. It just doesn't make sense. People, talking about being the first, flying up first and stuff. I was out there with the people, mixing with the people. All right, noting down what they say. Let's be honest here, okay? I'm gonna be very bluntly truth about this. All right, very bluntly honest. Majority of the candidates up here, they're puppets to something, a business, a group, or a department. I'm here for you guys. I represent you guys. That's all. Vote for William White.
Ooh, Mr. White.
Is
That's
that why you
right.
ran from an impromptu debate in front of the Southside Post Office and skateboarded away?
There will be time for rebuttals at the end, Mr. Weems.
Yeah,
Is-
please
is
limit
it
outbursts,
the-
Mr.
I
Weems.
think it is the end. It's the end.
Fuck yellow shirt guy. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yellow shirt guy.
Is
Get
it a
him out.
consensus to get the yellow shirt guy out of here?
Guy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, I'm doing no harm, player. I'm here for the fucking debate, player.
Here, officer, why don't you come back me up? Let's go ahead and drag this fucking cocksucker out of here.
Fucking crackhead.
Yeah, fuck you, yellow shirt guy.
Fuck you up, dumb motherfucker. Go get a haircut before you speak to me like that. Put some respect in my name, player.
All right.
Back up, sir. Sir, back up.
You
All
just
right,
told me to go
oh.
over here, player.
Back up, sir.
No, he just told me to go over the line, man.
Okay.
All right,
Let's keep
all
the
right.
peace.
Oh,
Let's
God.
keep the peace.
Is that gonna come near us?
Let's keep the peace, guys. Come on. Let's keep the peace, guys. Come on. Let's keep the peace. Come on, guys.
Let them get it out. At this
Maurice,
point.
shitty. Break it up. Come on. Break it up. Break it up.
Hey, look who slumped your bitch ass now, player. Know your fucking place.
Alright, we got him. We got him.
Fuck yellow shirt guy.
You might want to move.
Alright, we
Okay.
got them both.
Is he good or do we need to move?
He should be good.
Mr. White, you better be paying for me for this, man.
At least the medics.
What a ballroom blitz.
Yeah, who's slumped now, motherfucker? Huh?
Hey, can we open some
There's
windows,
two left.
please?
There's the ethical dilemma and subordinate.
Tear gas in a closed area is not a good idea.
Just go to the audience questions.
Oh,
All right. So you don't want to do either of them? Okay. Well, let's do rebuttals first because it seemed like a few of them wanted to do rebuttals on that last one anyway. So we'll do that and then we'll do audience questions.
Like it's a job interview.
Yeah, this is just a public job interview. This ain't no debate. I'm about to have an outburst in my fucking diaper.
All right.
Oh yeah, coach.
Let's all calm down. Things got a little hectic there. Let's all bring things back down.
Classic cops.
All right. All right. We will now open up for rebuttals. It seemed like there were quite a few that wanted to rebut on that last question, so we will open that up.
Oh, piece of shit.
Go on, Newton.
Okay. Yeah. Miss Joy Daniels speaks about campaigning before anyone else. That's like bragging about starting a race before the firing gun was fired.
What is this?
Is that a rebuttal or is that just
That's
like
a
you being
rebuttal.
snarky? That's
And
more
I-
like a snark comment.
That's a rebuttal.
Okay, I'm going to be honest right now. I don't believe in being in a smarky asshole that I am just going to say, hey, thank you for that lovely comment. I don't give a shit.
Ooh.
That was good.
Nerd. Hey, can I ask some questions?
Can I
Yeah.
actually ask a question for every single candidate?
Are
Just
there any
a
other
simple
rebuttals?
word question. So
Yeah, you can ask questions. Are there
Is
before
it
that
have
though?
you
Are
ever
there?
killed somebody?
Yeah. Funny you say that, Newton. Can I
Well, let's
rebuttal
hold-
to that?
Let's hold up there. Are there any other rebuttals?
No, I think I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
that I'd like to ask Awkward Johnson.
Now you may ask. You all may ask one question to the other candidates.
Awkward Johnson, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How come you never wrote the song you promised you were going to write for me? After we went on that amazing adventure, you never wrote Tunnel Rat.
Don't you worry, laddie. Tunnel Rat is half done. It's in the studio.
Is it? Or are you
Yes.
just saying that?
Well, I could
This is
play you
not
the
relevant.
unfinished version of it if you want.
Yeah. Mr. Falco, I'd like you to keep the questions relevant to the debate, please, if possible.
Oh, it's very
See
relevant.
their priorities there.
Joy, you had a question?
yes, I have a question for every single one. And I'll even answer this myself. If you could pick one mayor candidate to be picked, other than yourself, who would it be? And you can give a short synopsis why. Give yourself like 30 seconds to be able to do it. We'll start with Tony and then work our way down the line.
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
If you can pick one mayor candidate to be an option to be mayor other than yourself, who would it be?
I think Danny would be a lovely mayor, and then Joy, and then the other candidates could rock paper scissors for all I care.
Ooh.
All right, understood. Mr. Marino.
No, I would have to vote for Joy, or Tony as well. Those two would get my vote.
Understood. Mr. Johnson.
I would go with Fat Tony. He is a man with impeccable nature about him. I've known him for quite some time now, and he's always been very nice and pleasant, and just a great person to be around. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. And you, Mr. Falco.
I would probably say Awkward Johnson.
Understood. Mr. White.
I would vote for myself. I know that's.
I just
know,
said
I
no.
understand, but I will choose me. I have faith in me. I have belief in me. For all the other mayors, I'll support you, but I am the best one for the job. I'm going to
Can I
stick to
rebuttal
that.
this real quick? Because
sticking to
the
that.
question was who would you vote for, or who would be a mayor other than yourself? And the reason why I'm saying this is because you as a person, you cannot choose yourself. You also have to be able to think about the people around you and who would be a good choice other than yourself. So you didn't answer the question.
You did avoid it.
Response, Mr.
Sticking to
White?
my answer.
Yeah, at least he killed a cop.
All right, understood.
Yeah, and he killed
Mr.
two
Weems.
people at Pop's Diner.
Please limit
For
outbursts.
that fucking guy.
There will be time for questions in just a moment. Mr. Weems.
I guess you might as well be asking me, should I stab somebody or should I shoot them? The truth is, I don't think any of these candidates would do nearly as good of a job as I could in running this city, and I wouldn't vote for any of them.
All right, so in other words, the same as
I'm
Mr.
the only
White.
hope for this city.
Yeah.
All right, understood. Any other questions
Joy,
that you candidates would like to?
Oh, I want to answer it because I would actually vote. I would vote Dan or Tony because I believe they both have good ideas for the for the city to be able to grow. Dan actually probably be the one who'd be able to progress further with it.
All right. My apologies, Ms. Daniels. I thought you already answered. All right. Any other questions that you candidates would like to pose to your fellow candidates?
Okay, I have a question.
All right.
I have a question for the other candidates. How many people have you killed? Because the answer is 0 for me.
I'll answer. 0.
0, I puke up blood.
Yeah, 0.
0.
Torture.
0.
Kidnapping.
Unfortunately, for me, it's 1. But it was an accident, and I've been tried in court. Their name, I will be getting to it, okay? I've been tried in court, okay? And it was seen as an accident on a suspended sentence, all right? Now, I would like to bring all of your attention to this question, all right? People want to use the late Jethro Gibbs as an example, right? As a tool. As a
Please
tool
limit outbursts.
to use him as a tool to take advantage over this situation. They didn't mention his experience. They didn't mention his achievements. They didn't mention what type of person he is. They're just using him to get to me. All right? A person who does not respect the dead has no respect.
Please limit
for
the
life.
outbursts.
You see what I mean? Everyone has this ammunition against me. This is the only ammunition they've got against me. Using a dead person. What kind of respect is that? If no one has respect against the dead, if no one has respect for the dead, what kind of respect would they have for the living? They want
All right.
the late Jethro Gibbs. Like I said,
All right.
many
All right.
times.
I'm gonna have to cut you off here, Mr. White. That's your time.
That's fine.
All right. Let's calm down with some of the outbursts in the crowd, please. We'll have time for questions in just a moment.
I've got a question for all the other candidates.
All right, Mr. Johnson.
Where are we all going after this for a drink?
The courthouse.
Yellow Jack.
Hell yeah.
I
I'm
don't
down
get
with
drunk
that.
anymore. But
Yellow Jack.
yeah, let's go to Yellow Jack.
Little Jack.
And I'll be down at the Belmont on the beach if anyone wants to come down and hang out.
Too high class for the Yellow Jack? Is that how you'd run your campaign?
Marino, why you sound so fucking depressed, man? What's up?
I'm not depressed.
He thinks he's too
he's
good for
smiling.
everyone.
Keep questions for the end, folks. Keep questions for the end. All right. And any other questions that you candidates would like to pose to your other candidates?
I think we're
Going
all
once.
set.
Going twice. All right. All right. For the final portion of this debate, we are going to have closing statements from our candidates.
You're not a candidate, Riggs.
What about the question?
Do we get to ask any questions?
I've got a list here. I've got 3 of them.
Yeah, after the closing statement, I believe.
That doesn't make sense.
Wouldn't
All
we want
right.
to ask them questions before
Okay.
closing,
All
or
right.
do
Sorry.
you
So,
wanna ask
yeah,
them
no.
before?
All right. Sorry. All right. We'll do public questions first, then closing statement. All right.
Wonderful.
All right. Anyone that would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Some of you might have to shout. I'm having trouble seeing some of you.
You see me?
I can see you, sir. Yes.
Wonderful.
I press.
This is a question for all candidates. Can any of you tell me what businesses you currently support or own or operate to give credibility to your understanding of economics and financial need?
I can answer this.
All right. We'll begin with Mr. Johnson.
Yes, I do not own a business, but I have helped a lot of local businesses by supplying them with my music for adverts and such. Pop's Diner, Atlas Law. I even done one for a gas station and they never followed it up. But I'm willing to support small businesses any way I can, be it as a musician, a superstar, or a humble public servant. Thank you.
I can also answer. I do not run a business. I have a private practice therapy that I do if I'm not at Pillbox. But it's not going to limit that. I should put my whole focus on being a mayor rather than running a business. Why do I want to try to put my hands in too many pools, you know?
I do not currently own a business. I work everyday jobs just like every other person in this city. But I've spoken to a lot of business owners. I'm very well aware of the issues with the suppliers and the pricing.
Such as?
With the Yellow Jack, for example, with Salieri's, for example. Those are just a few. I've spoken to the owner of the Belmont as well. I'm very aware of the issues that plague businesses, including small businesses, and I understand their struggles. I understand their struggles when starting out. For example, somebody will often purchase a small business unable to furnish it. I want to offer grants to people so they can furnish their small businesses and get started.
It wasn't
I
the
also,
question. I'm asking you if you,
Oh my
if
God.
you
Let me
operate
answer
or
the
own
question.
or anything like
God
that.
damn
Come on,
it.
Mr. White.
Thank you. Unlike the lack of experience shown up here, I do own and run a 24/7 business besides UTOL next on Los Santos Freeway. I know some of the inbuilt problems we have in terms of ordering, maintaining, upgrading. I do have valuable experience in that regard. Thank you. Vote for William White.
All right. Thank you, Mr. White. Would any other candidates like to respond to the question?
I don't own one. So.
I'd like to finish my
Leave it
thought
at
that I'm
that.
actually trying to solve the issues and not just saying I'm aware of them.
All right, well, tell you what, I've got an even better fucking question. So, with the mayor, election.
Hey, you don't get
Could
two
we actually
questions.
limit one
one
per?
question. Come on,
Okay,
one
all right.
question per person.
All
Come
right,
on.
all right. At the
We're
end,
gonna
it's
have a lot of
fucking
questions
question.
here.
They're good
I'm
fucking
going to
questions.
say this right now, guys. If everybody asks multiple questions, we're going to be here for 3 hours. We don't want to
Yeah.
be here for 3 hours, so please make it limit.
I'm here for the
Yeah,
people.
you-
I'll be here for 3 hours.
Yeah, you will only be limited to one question.
In Pudong,
Could I ask
the
that
police
anyone-
are allowed to kill anyone that has drugs in a public execution manner. What will you do to help us and support the police officers in the war on drugs?
I'd like to answer this first.
All right, Mr. Falco.
So my plan with the police department is pretty simple. We, with the high concentration of police officers here in Los Santos, I think we can benefit more from moving half of them to Polito. That way we have more police officers embedded in other communities, and with more and with better embedding in communities, we have less friction points, and friction points are where the trouble is. So by decreasing friction points, we can increase harmony. Thank you.
Look, okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with Newton here. Lack of
What?
concentration.
That was
me
not
and
Newton.
Daniel are literally the only people who can answer this type of question. We are. Daniel is a police officer, and I was a former senior officer. Okay, there's no high concentration in the city. They actually suffer from a lack of police in the city. Okay, we need better training, like some of the other candidates have mentioned, and they need more, equipment to use to, get this war on drug and other crimes in control. It needs to be more penalty on fine on certain charges, I believe, like hostage taking and any risk to someone's life. They are things that need to be, pressured. We need to put our thumb down on it. I don't know about lack of concentration, Mr. Newton. You don't have any experience in the field.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that was Mr. Falco.
That was
Mr. White.
awkward.
No, that wasn't me.
That was Mr. Newton Weems.
I didn't answer the
They're
question.
not
yet.
even paying attention to who's answering questions. How are they supposed to pay attention to the people?
I've been
Is
paying
that your
attention.
question, Riggs?
I would like to answer the question on the war on drugs.
That's your question.
All right, Mr. Johnson.
Now, the war on drugs is obviously ongoing, and it's causing a terrible toll in our city streets. However, rather than just penalise the everyday drug dealers in the city, I say that we look more into the source. You have to cut the head of the snake off, so to say. We have to find out who's making these drugs, where they're coming from, how they're getting into the city. That's where I would be focusing my power on. Thank you.
Oh, that would be a last MC. They
Alright.
sound like LSD or some shit.
I'll
Please
take
limit
my knack
outbursts
at
in the crowd.
this.
Yes, Miss Daniels.
Obviously training in general, and working with the DOJ and the Chief Justice to try to establish higher fines for different charges. And on top of that, I believe that even trying to make sure that the people that are getting arrested try to get help for their addictions. So working with a therapy department with that.
I'm
yeah,
going to
I got
rebut
some
that.
help right on my waist for him.
I'd like to rebut
right?
that
No
because
violence.
with higher
No
fines,
violence.
people are not going to be able to be rehabilitated. They're going to be stuck in a life of crime.
It's free. It's free. It's free. You don't have to pay anything to go talk to a doctor. You have free health care.
But they'll still be sentenced to a life of crime.
How are they going to be sentenced to a life when they're going to be seeking help and talking to people about their issues? As well
With
as the fact is, they're not going to be charged where they're not going to be able to buy a hot dog or anything. They're still going to be able to do their normal duties.
There's a man in the
I'll allow
audience
one last
today.
rebuttal, Mr. Falco.
There's a man in the audience today. Oh, it looks like he stepped out. Who was charged $7,500 fine just for trying to speak to the attorney general and let him know about a communist threat. And the attorney general didn't want to talk to him and charge him a $7,500 fine. That's not okay. People.
Well, that sounds just more like corruption.
And that's why we don't need to raise fines.
Well, I can rebuttal that and answer that. So,
My
you
question
know-
was, are you
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
allow us to kill people that
yeah.
do drugs?
No,
Listen,
no,
Ace.
no
Deserve
killing
to
people.
be dead.
No
Ace.
killing people.
No one
It's
deserves
You
to die,
whoever
Ace.
said that.
Can I answer this, Ace? Listen, I know you like a big drug bust as much as any other cop, but you have a force matrix that you know how to use, and we're not going to be fucking killing anyone, okay? It's not going to happen here. People have rights, and they have a right to live. You need to relax.
I'm just saying, if there's a guy
This
and
is
he's got a giant heroin syringe and he's holding it to a poor woman's neck, then gosh darn it, you have to do what is necessary in order to protect that citizen of this fine city.
You have to shoot him and that woman.
Is there? I mean, is there a single decent, God-fearing Republican here, or are you just all a bunch of damn Dems?
All right.
You like
all right,
taking
Captain
souls,
Bishop,
Ace?
This is ridiculous. This is
we-
ridiculous.
You like
we
taking
have
people's
to
souls?
we
You
have
like
to
killing
limit
them,
it to one
Ace?
question, Captain Bishop.
We should move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think we're
Value
getting
for
off track
life.
here.
God damn it.
That's that's going to be all for that question. Mr. Riggs, I saw you put your hand up earlier.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. U.S. Marshal Lionel Riggs. I have a very important question to ask you. First off, I want to say thanks for joining us all today. We appreciate you coming out here.
Thank
Now
you.
for my question. How are you planning to deal with the chief of police routine mental breakdowns on a regular basis? Are you going to fire her, or are you going to work through all the traumatic events that she has going on in her life?
Can I answer this one first?
Please, Miss Daniels.
I am actually a therapist, so if she really does need somebody to speak to, I am an open ear for her.
She most certainly
and
does.
she can work through the issues that is she working through. But if she's doing a good job as a chief, she should not be fired. If she's actually putting an effort in doing her job correctly and trying to work through the issues that the police department is having, why should she be fired for that?
She's not.
Her
she's a
personal
doctor.
issues are different than her work issues. Okay.
I would like to answer this now.
All
I
right,
believe
Mr. Johnson.
in my meetings and just general talking with the chief that they appear to be a fantastic person and
Are
the
you
right
doinking
person
her?
for the job. Absolutely not, sir. That's two questions. You only had one.
One question, Riggs.
Fair enough.
They are the right person for the job, and they are making this city more stable than it's ever been. Thank you.
I'll
Thank
answer
you,
it
Mr.
next.
Mr. Marino.
Oh, okay. So
Thank
Reno,
you.
Go for it.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Marino.
Oh,
Go ahead, Mr.
yeah,
White.
go ahead, Dwight.
No, that was
Oh,
fine.
look. At the end of the day, we're all humans, okay? We do have problems, and that's right. That's right. Now, I have heard some stuff about the chief, but there were also some stuff about EMS directors, the attorney's office, fire department, the roadside
you
assistants.
focus on the
okay,
question, sir?
I'm getting to it now. All right. Now the chief is a capable chief. She knows what to do, how to deal with stuff. But I think, from what I've seen, she just needs guidance. Guidance from
All right,
a
you
mayor.
heard it all here. The worst cop on the force that got fired, who has no idea what he's doing, thinks that she is a capable chief. Now that's going to raise some red flags for me.
Yeah. Ooh. Got fired, Riggs.
Yeah, because
Yep,
I
you
had a
got
problem
fired.
with you doinking the attorney general.
No, Riggs,
All right,
you
all
are
right,
the
all right.
problem.
Let's keep the outburst to a minimum. Let's keep the outburst to a minimum.
Should we move to the next question?
What the hell?
No one likes you,
we,
Riggs.
we can move to the next question unless any other candidates would like to respond to this
I'll
one.
answer the question.
All right, Mr. Weems.
Like was discussed earlier, I think opening up a mental and addiction facility and career center would be very, very good. And I think that I've spoken with Harper, and she seemed nice, but I understand the conflicting reports of possible issues. But I will say that sometimes people just need a good supportive hug in order to, all it takes is a hug.
Don't you
sometimes,
hug
and
her.
People,
Hug?
Don't hug
people
her.
can turn things around.
So practical. A hug. That will solve everything.
That is not true.
Thanks for your time there, mayoral candidates. I really
That is not true.
appreciate
That's slander.
Thank you, Riggs.
All right. Thank you. All right. I believe I saw Chief Harper over there. Raise her hand.
Yes. Okay, my question is, a lot of you have spoken about funding for the city, and so far all I've really heard about is fundraisers. What about the long term? What about businesses getting taxed?
I'll
Is
answer
that
that
something
first.
that we're going to be
I
No
will answer
taxes.
that second. I
I'll
will
answer
answer
that
that second.
first.
All right, all right. No need to rush. All right, Mr. White.
Yeah. Listen, all right, guys. I've heard a lot of promises being made by these other mayoral candidates, okay? As they should, all right? These ideas and suggestions are great. They're great, okay? But the first mayor, all right, believe it or not, will have to pave the way, set that foundation, all right? Taxes are a way to build a budget, but it won't be bank-breaking taxes, all right? No one has to be scared of money being stolen out of your pocket. But for the first mayor, building the budget to be able to fund all of these ideas and suggestions are very important, especially making sure that it's smooth for the second mayor, the third mayor. For the first, look, I guarantee it, I can almost guarantee it, that none of the promises that were made by these mayoral candidates will be met. Because the mayor will have to focus on building that budget, making sure there's money there, there's actual money to use, you know? Vote for William White.
Mr.
Okay.
All
I'm
right,
going
thank you,
second
Mr.
because
White.
I called it.
Yep, Miss Daniels.
I said this actually already, that my main focus is going to be trying to build up a state account because that's what we need. And my plan was to actually tax businesses that were going to be introduced, as well as charge them for their license fees, because they need to actually work for that business and show a little more interest towards it. So business proposals as well as taxes for that. It's not going to be a major tax where they're going to be, losing their money, like White said. It's going to be like a 3% tax. It's not going to be nothing major, enough to be able to start filling up, the fees towards, owning that business, as well as trying to establish a state fund.
Small bit.
Unlike the communist who just spoke, I'm not going to tax businesses, especially as they're starting to get established. They need, this is Reagan's America. No, trickle down policies. The money flows to people. Thank you.
Tax is American.
Can I rebuttal
Tax
real quick?
is American.
Wait, all right.
You know,
I'll allow
communism
rebuttal.
doesn't have any taxes,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, because people
Communism
don't have
has
any
no
right.
taxes. Yeah, so you don't want taxes? So are you sure you're not a communist?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I would like to answer the question.
Yes, Mr. Williams.
Taxes are, in order to build a budget, the money does need to come from somewhere, be it fundraising or taxes, etc. I believe the best way to introduce these taxes would be to reduce the cost of the supplies that these businesses depend on, and use that money to fund our fund for the city, so the businesses don't lose more. I know they're struggling with their margins, and I think I don't want to put that burden onto them. We should put it on the suppliers.
That's nice.
I like that.
All right,
Well,
thank you, Mr.
all right.
Williams.
May I answer?
Yes, Mr. Marino.
I kind of didn't get to answer the business question earlier. I've invested in 2 businesses early on, including Sal's as one of them. And I have a close relationship with a lot of business owners as well, and understand, that there's going to be needs for, as Mr. Weems has said, the reduced price of stock and stuff like that. But the most important thing is getting money into the people's pockets so they can spend it. And, like I said earlier, we're going to have to figure out taxes and get the budget built. And I will let you know, with a unique understanding of the PD budget, it will be taxed the hardest. Probably the hardest tax that's going to be out there. And going to build up that budget and make sure, we're getting more money into the pockets of the citizens so you guys can spend more.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marino. Would any other candidates like to answer the question?
Yes, I would like to answer, Well,
all right, Mr. Johnson.
On the subject of tax doesn't have to be taxing. It's very simple. The higher earners pay more tax. But once we get in there and start working, we'll be able to see what these taxes will do and how they will affect the people. And that is when we start doing the real work. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other responses? All right, understood. Any other questions from the folks in the crowd?
Yeah, pick me, guy with the bucket head. Pick me.
All right.
Damn.
All right, old dirty bitch. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ. Hello.
Wait, is that his name?
That is his
Ladies
name.
and gentlemen, hello, schmucks and
Hello, sir.
punks. I am a member of the homeless community. I live under the bridge at the golf course here in the city. Shut up. And I would like to ask each and every one of you, how would you help the homeless community, and why does it involve free meth?
I'll answer this one.
Man, I'll sort your ass out.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
How would I help the homeless community? I would simply be there to ask them what they need from me as mayor. And that is it. I will talk to anyone, from the homeless community to, I don't know, some hoity-toity fancy person living up in a millionaire's mansion. I will give you my time. That's how I will help. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other candidates that would like to respond?
Well, I'm not going to give him free meth, but I was already trying to work on trying to find a home for you, and I was working with a few other people. So it's just more trying to find a place where they can get where they can stay and not feel unsafe, and they have a roof over their head.
I would like to offer you more job opportunities so you don't have to remain homeless for the rest of your life. With the career center and mental health facility, you could go there and talk to a counselor that can help you get started, and possibly wean you off of meth with a controlled amount and study the effects of it on your brain.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any other candidates that would like to respond?
That shit sucks. We endorse, the homeless community endorses Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the crowd?
Yeah, double DDT.
Yeah, the gentleman in the white shirt in the front.
Oh, Mikey, go ahead.
Yeah. I have a question to all the candidates. Feel free to answer, feel free not to answer. It's up to you, but I'd love to hear from you. So, as a musician myself, and on behalf of all the other musicians, what are your plans for bettering the music industry and its community going forward?
I would like to answer this question.
All right, Mr. Weems.
So I've spoken to a lot of musicians, and I do believe that artists contribute a lot culturally to our city. I want to set aside a portion of the budget to compensate artists for their hard work. I also want to make it easier for them to get their songs out there, maybe via cassette tapes. I want you to get paid for your hard work because you deserve it, and artists are serve a very important role in our city.
I think he is a communist.
You know, I don't know about maybe allocating budget, but I do plan on doing a lot of city events, and would love to work closely with the record labels to get the artists there, and even independent artists as well. And also, help facilitate the record labels and see what we can do to help them and help their artists to get paid and succeed here in the city.
I think this is really a question that, it speaks to my heart, really. Mikey, obviously, a fantastic musician. I would like to just say that Mr. Weems over there has said he's spoken to a lot of musicians, but he's never spoken to me about this, which I find strange.
He's never spoken to me either.
You're never around in the streets. You're in
Yes,
your
I am.
fancy.
He actually is.
Every
He's
day.
always in the streets.
Thank
Oh my
you,
gosh.
everyone. Now, I would like to say that I think making music is something beautiful. The gift of music to people can make them happy and sad. It can control your emotions. And I think the music industry in this city is in its infancy. We have radio stations popping up, a lot of live events happen weekly. I think it's great, However, what I would say is we need to have somewhere centralized where musicians can sell their wares. People love music. So why not have somewhere people can go to purchase what they want? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson.
I will say right now, we really have to work on just getting a state account. So I would not allocate any budget towards giving artists any extra money. No offense. And I think most of the artists know me. I worked with Vitus Entertainment, and I was attempting to try to establish an area where artists can go and be able to communicate and do events. And yes, like what Dan said, I want to do more events for the city. So you are going to get paid for those events and try to build up your music and build up, a little more happiness and joy into the city, like my name. So
Many of you know that I'm trying to start up a radio station, Vinewood Vice Radio, dedicated solely to local artists. It'll only play local artists and nobody else. So that
sounds a lot like Rebel Radio.
Yeah, so it's already a thing.
hell yeah, Rebel Radio.
Yeah,
That's right,
Rebel
you're gonna-
Radio.
Listen to Rebel Radio.
and Rebel Radio is great, and we're gonna have a second one that does the same thing then.
Also,
More
I forgot to say
highlighted.
that seeing as I now have a second album ready, I will be giving out my first album, which features Eat Ass or Die, for absolutely free. Thank you.
All right. Any other responses to this question, candidates? No. All right. I think we've got time for one or two more questions from the crowd.
Hi there. Get the candidate. Am I okay? Speak, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I can't really hear you. Kind of speak
Yeah,
up.
make sure you're yelling, sir.
Ah, that's fine. Can the candidates elaborate on their plans for investment into public transportation throughout the state?
I'll take that.
All right, Mr. Falco.
So, as I mentioned earlier, my platform is going to be to replace the bus systems with trains and nukes. So we are going to invest in trains, in lots of trains. We have a train system in place.
I think he's a communist.
We have the tracks in place, but we have no trains to ride on them. So we're going to invest in that. Plus all the nukes. Maybe we can use that to build nuclear cars too.
How are you going to get people to grapeseed on trains?
They'll go really fast.
There's no line in grapeseed.
Well, I would like to jump in and answer your
Yeah.
question very quickly. I can see some people getting antsy in their seat. I think public transport like buses is one of the most important things. Not everybody can afford the luxury of a fast, fancy car. I think public transport like buses is the way forward, and the way backwards, and sometimes round corners. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any other responses for this question from the candidate?
I know the bus union came down and did a protest, and I listened. I was there, and I would look to increase support toward our public transportation employees, empower you guys to do your job with pride. I'd also look to increase highway speed limits a little bit to a more reasonable limit where locals aren't passing you necessarily. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Marino. I was at that rally. I believe the bus drivers are currently underpaid, and I do believe the speed limits in Blaine County and the highway are a little slow. I believe increasing them will increase the productivity of our fine city.
I will speak right now. Do you guys know how much it's going to cost to change every sign in the city to be able to change the speed limits? When we don't have a budget for a
The
general
signs are already wrong.
office?
Listen, the times aren't an issue, like the speeds aren't an issue for the bus service anyway.
Yeah,
The
I would say
timetables that are
they
planned
need
are
money
already
and they
working
need-
with the speed limits. It's more the investment into the facilities
Yeah.
for
The-
people
the-
to use.
the signs-
Like,
the mayor-
a
the-
big thing is like luggage space. If you're going to the airport, like who wants to leave their case?
The
behind
speed
and
limit
stuff like
signs
that.
are already wrong
Facilities
for
need
the
to be better
record.
for the public.
You wouldn't have to change them. If anything, you'd change them to something more accurate.
All right. Well, going forward, I think like he said, they need an area where they can actually work from and be able to communicate and work together rather than not having an area that they can meet up and actually communicate things. They also need a little more money, and they also need a way that more communication of what their schedules go out to as. right now you have to go to bulletin board, hopefully memorize what the schedule is and go there on time. There needs some more communication within the city to be able to allocate this so they can have more people riding the bus.
All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Daniels. Any final responses from the candidates? All right. All right. I think we have
Thanks for your
time.
folks.
Yes, thank you, Devin.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one final question, folks.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my question for each of the candidates is, if you had to choose one singular issue of highest priority that you'd like to be known for solving, which issue would that be, and specifically, how would you solve it?
Money. I'll build a budget.
Yeah, I think everybody would be on the same page there, and it would be
I was about
state
to
funding.
say, I think right now everybody's main focus is just establishing a mayor department in general because we're starting from nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this question was somewhat already asked in the previous questions.
That's right.
Can we do another one?
Sure.
Yeah, we can do one more question.
So,
Mr. White,
there's a lot
right.
of. I know that you guys have talked about police training academies and stuff like that. What are you guys gonna, put in? What are you guys gonna have put into that to prevent these cops from coming down to, areas of the city which are usually quite peaceful and disturbing the peace and profiling innocent civilians on the sidewalk for simply standing and, enjoying themselves
Candidates?
and having tattoos?
Murderers with badges
Uh,
like that.
What
I
are you
will
gonna do
go
with
right now.
people using their job as a front for selling meth?
Alrighty.
What's his
I'm
contact?
just
I
going
wanna
to
buy
ignore
off
the
that
snarky
cop.
comment, but I can tell you right now, I've already selected this chief of police. Okay, I'm not ignoring it. I've
Outburst,
actually helped
please.
somebody do
Outburst,
an
guys.
outburst.
Come
let's
on.
limit outbursts.
Let's get through this. Let's get
Captain,
through it.
Captain
Come
Bishop,
on.
Captain Bishop, please stop. Otherwise, we will have to have you thrown out.
I don't care. I hate drugs.
Captain Albert.
Oh,
like
I
this. Look
understand
at
you
him.
hate drugs, but you're
Look at
not
him.
letting us answer the questions based on corruption for police department. So that was so great. So amazing, Ace. How about you just shut up, okay?
Very
How
professional,
about
Ace.
you let me execute people with drugs?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. People actually deserve a fair and honest trial for anything that they do.
depends.
All right, as we are going to answer the
Y'all
question.
hear this murderer with a badge?
All right, folks, folks in the crowd, please stop. Allow Miss Daniels to answer the question.
I've already spoke to the police about it. We are doing retraining, and she is keeping an eye out on any corruption and
Ooh, Mr.
anything
White.
following against the SOPs
right.
and also following against the charges that are people getting placed on.
All right.
Yes, I
anything
would like
else?
to. Yes, I would like to say that I believe the city now has a robust Department of Justice, and any injustices such as what you're talking about will be reviewed and, if necessary, taken to a trial or tribunal and dealt with. Thank you.
What about the fact that these cops are not being held accountable and being given suspended sentences and still carrying on with their jobs completely fine?
True.
It's
Murderer with
unlawful.
a badge.
That's a second question, laddie.
That
is a second
question.
question, unfortunately.
Were you able to
Well,
go
that-
back
that-
to work after you used your Go Postal van to sell meth?
I didn't.
Oh, okay then.
Okay,
Have a
let's
good day,
let's
sir.
keep this on topic, please.
Yeah, let's limit the outbursts. Any
Ooh, Mr.
candidates?
White.
Is there
Mr.
any other
White.
candidates that would
That's
like to
right.
respond to the question? No. All right. All right, folks. We're going to now finish with closing statements from the candidates. We will begin with Tony.
Vote for Fat Tony. This debate has gone on for far too long.
All right. Thank you,
All
Tony.
right. Hey, Fat Tony.
All right.
Hell yeah.
You can agree on.
All right, I'm going to use my secret weapon.
Miss Daniels, please, closing statements.
I think you guys should vote Joy Daniels for mayor. I can bring some joy to the city.
Yes, my vote.
Wait, why did you change your voice?
I did use a sexy voice.
Yes.
No, I do it actually. It's my calming voice. I do it in therapy and tell people to take a deep breath and, relax. But
Don't get me wrong, you're hot, but I'm not going to vote for you for that.
Okay, let's please,
All right.
guys,
all right,
please fucking keep the comments to yourself. Thank you.
All right. Next, Mr. Marino.
Some of you may see me as a cop, but I just want to let you know I've I only had a badge for 2 months. I've been a civilian like you guys for a long, long time. And, I really look forward to serving this city. And if you guys want to talk policies or just come say hi, I'll be down at the Belmont after. Thank you, Marino for mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Marino. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to say this to you all. Now, I don't know a lot about gun crime or knife crime, but I was raised with a bit of discipline. And I think if we had a bit more discipline and a bit of respect for each other, we might just be okay. Thank you for your time. Vote Johnson for mayor.
That's fucking stupid.
Captain Bishop, one more outburst and we will have you thrown out.
Security hasn't been doing shit so far. Exactly.
Sorry.
All right, Mr. Falco.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back.
Good talk.
Mr. Falco.
Mr. Falco?
Speak up.
Mr. Falco.
Oh, thank you. I was practicing in my head. My great grandfather, Billy Blasters, the famous outlaw, escaped a bank robbery in a hot air balloon.
This is really boring. Could you please not talk anymore?
Comments, please. Keep them to yourself. Thank you.
Yes, the next outburst will be thrown out.
And he used a herd of buffalo to escape from another bank robbery, and it made all the papers.
Throw out whoever just said that.
It's important to bring that level of dangerous creativity to the mayor's office, and that's what I'm here to bring. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Falco. Next, Mr. White.
I am the voice of hardworking people, those struggling day after day, night after night, to taste that little bit of that American dream.
Throw that man out, please.
All right? I know that it's a struggle to own a business, to buy a vehicle, to buy a house, but it's not easy. American dream is not meant to be easy, all right? It's a constant struggle, continuous battle, all right? And that goal is to get everyone to get that opportunity to go after that American dream. Build something for yourself. Explore life in health, wealth, and love, all right? Now, when I get into office, everything will not be magically fixed or sold. It will be a bumpy road all the way. But I can assure you, I will be fighting for you, arguing for you, and being the first to run in the battle for all of you. Alone, you can go so far. Together, we can go further. And that's where the dream is, further. This state is great, and it will be greater. But if there's no William White, it won't be right. Vote for William White.
Yeah, Mr. White.
That's
All right. Thank you, Mr. White. Finally, Mr. Weed.
Oh gosh.
nice time.
Remember, a vote for Newton Weems is a vote for supporting local business, equal opportunity for Southsiders, ending the hostility between the civilian population and the police, communication, town hall meetings every 2 weeks, and rehabilitation and career centers for mental health. Root for Newt. Root for Newt. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Weems. That is going to conclude our debates for today. I would like to thank you all for coming out. Those of you that were limited with your outbursts, thank you. I appreciate your time coming out and
Thank you,
seeing
Ken.
these debates. Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Weasel News, for holding this for us.